What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Let's dive into our first news. Former UFC welterweight champion Kamaru Usman still believes there's a path for him to become a double champion before hanging up the gloves. Despite being deep into his career, Kamaru remains confident that his story isn't over just yet. He envisions one last incredible run that could see him capture gold in both the welterweight and middleweight divisions before retiring on his own terms. Speaking recently, Kamaru shared his dream scenario, saying that his ideal plan would be to win back the welterweight title, then immediately move up to middleweight, capture that belt as well, and ride off into the sunset as a two-division champion. In his words, "It's part of my career, it's the dream scenario. The next fight, win the welterweight title, vacate, win the middleweight title, retire. Just boom, boom, 1, 2, and then be done." He added that achieving such a feat would be the perfect ending to his legendary career, explaining, "You can't top that. What else would I want after that?" Even though Kamaru has already cemented his place as one of the greatest welterweights in UFC history, his competitive spirit remains unshaken. His ambition to chase greatness once more and possibly become a double champ shows that the Nigerian nightmare still has his sights set on history, aiming to go out on top with one of the most remarkable finishes in the sport. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news. Beneil Dariush has surprised many fans by picking JDM to defeat Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. The upcoming card, set for November 15th at Madison Square Garden, features one of the most anticipated title fights in recent memory. JDM, the reigning welterweight champion, is heading into his first title defense as an underdog against Islam, who is moving up from lightweight for the very first time. Despite Islam's dominance at 155 pounds, many are beginning to wonder if his size disadvantage will be too much to overcome at welterweight. Beneil, a respected lightweight contender known for his honesty and fight IQ, recently spoke with Helen Yee about his prediction. When asked whether he still believed Islam would claim another belt, Dariush admitted he's changed his mind. "I'm leaning now towards JDM," he said. "I feel like the size will make the difference, especially cardio-wise. JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. This is all feel. This is one of those fights where I can't really give you a clear answer, but my gut says JDM." His comments caught the attention of fans because Dariush has sparred with some of the best lightweights in the world and understands Islam's grappling style better than most. For him to lean toward JDM shows he believes the Australian champion's pace, striking, and endurance could neutralize Islam's wrestling-heavy approach. Beneil added that sometimes intuition plays a huge role in predicting fights, and this is one of those times when he's trusting his instincts rather than breaking down the stats. Many analysts also share Beneil's sentiment. While Islam is considered one of the most complete fighters in modern MMA, the jump in weight could present unique challenges. JDM's striking is crisp, powerful, and relentless, while his ability to maintain pressure over 5 rounds has already been proven against top-level opponents. In his last outing, JDM silenced critics by dominating a strong wrestler in Belal Muhammad, showing that his takedown defense and ground awareness have evolved dramatically. Now, heading into UFC 322, the storyline is set. Can Islam's technical precision and world-class grappling overcome JDM's size, strength, and pace? While Islam remains the betting favorite, the growing confidence around JDM, especially from respected fighters like Beneil Dariush, adds another layer of intrigue to this massive title clash. Fans can expect nothing less than fireworks when these two meet inside the octagon in New York City. Moving on to another news. Paddy Pimblett has reacted to recent comments made by Ronda Rousey, who had some high praise for the rising lightweight star. Over the past few years, Paddy has become one of the most talked about names in the UFC, not just because of his exciting performances inside the cage, but also because of his charisma, humor, and confidence outside of it. From his signature pre-fight dancing to his outspoken personality and unmistakable haircut, Pimblett has carved out a unique identity that's made him a fan favorite across the world. Before he even signed with the UFC, Paddy was already a sensation in the UK, drawing massive crowds and media attention. Since joining the promotion, he's continued to rise in popularity, scoring big wins and building a brand that's impossible to ignore. Many believe that his mix of showmanship and skill could make him one of the next global superstars of the sport. In fact, there's growing speculation that he could soon face Ilia in what would be his toughest test to date, especially now that Ilia holds the lightweight title. During a recent appearance at New York Comic-Con, former UFC champion Ronda Rousey was asked about what it takes for fighters to become mainstream stars. While reflecting on her own experience and how MMA has evolved, Ronda brought up Paddy's name, praising his ability to capture attention beyond the octagon. She said that being a successful fighter isn't just about skills and wins, it's also about being an entertainer. According to her, many fighters forget that aspect, but Paddy truly understands it. Rousey explained, "That's what really matters. You can make people know who you are even if they don't watch fighting. That's how you command the entertainment side of things, and I think a lot of fighters today don't realize that." The one person who really gets it is Paddy Pimblett. It didn't take long for Ronda's comments to reach Paddy, who responded with genuine appreciation. submission.
He took to social media and wrote, "Thank you very much, Ronda Rousey."
It means a lot coming from a UFC legend. The post quickly gained traction, with fans celebrating the exchange between two of the sport's most recognizable personalities. Although Paddy may not yet be a household name in North America, his blend of fighting skill, humor, and entertainment value continues to win over audiences. If he keeps getting high-profile matchups and continues to deliver both in and out of the cage, it's only a matter of time before he becomes one of the biggest stars in MMA. Moving on to another news, Rockhold has completely changed his stance on Alex Pereira, going from a vocal critic to calling him one of the greatest fighters of all time. Not too long ago, Rockhold was among those who doubted Pereira's overall MMA skill set, questioning whether the former kickboxing world champion could truly dominate in mixed martial arts. But as Pereira continues to prove doubters wrong and solidify his legacy, even former champions like Rockhold are admitting just how special he is. At UFC 320 earlier this month, Pereira reclaimed his position as one of the most feared men in the sport by avenging his loss to Magomed Ankalaev in jaw-dropping fashion. The fight didn't last long. Pereira came out sharp, confident, and finished the job with a brutal striking display that reminded everyone why he's one of the most dangerous finishers in UFC history. After that performance, TMZ caught up with Rockhold on the street, and his tone toward Pereira was completely different from what fans had heard before. When asked for his thoughts on UFC 320, the former middleweight champion didn't hold back. He said, "I used to hate on Alex Pereira, but he's a gangster. It's all about confidence, it's all about balls, and he's got it. I can't hate on him anymore. He's one of the GOATs. He carries the same mindset every time. He doesn't have much of a ground game, but the guy's got balls. No more hate, Alex. God bless, you're a gangster. He's one of the best champs of all time." Honestly, it's impressive. Hearing that from a former champion like Rockhold says a lot about how far Pereira has come. Just 2 years ago, Luke was one of his biggest critics. Back in 2022, after Pereira knocked out Sean Strickland in brutal fashion, Rockhold dismissed the idea that he could hang with the top middleweights in the UFC. He said, "Yeah, it's an intriguing story. Alex Pereira beat Izzy twice, and that's what they're selling. But let's be real, there are 20 guys in the UFC who would probably maul him. It's a compelling story if you get him past a brawler like Sean Strickland, but that's about it." Fast forward to today, and Alex Pereira has not only beaten Israel Adesanya again, but also conquered 2 divisions, capturing both the middleweight and light heavyweight titles. His meteoric rise, highlight reel knockouts, and calm confidence under pressure have forced even his harshest critics to acknowledge his greatness. Rockhold's change of heart perfectly captures what many fans and fighters are now feeling. Alex Pereira isn't just a powerful striker, he's a generational talent who's rewritten the story of what's possible in modern MMA. Moving on to another news, Beneil Dariush just dropped a major bomb that has the MMA community buzzing. During a recent interview, Beneil revealed that he's hearing Justin Gaethje could be next in line to fight Ilia for the lightweight title. The news comes at a time when the division is more chaotic than ever, with so many contenders making noise and rumors swirling about who's next. Dariush's comments have only added more fuel to the fire. Over the past few weeks, fans have been trying to piece together the lightweight title picture, especially after the announcement of Arman vs. Hooker at the UFC event in Qatar. Many believed that fight would bring clarity to the division, but instead, things have only become more confusing. Some reports suggested that Paddy Pimblett might somehow be next for Ilia, while others pointed to Justin Gaethje. Now, with Beneil's comments surfacing, the conversation has taken a new turn. In his interview, Dariush said, "I'm hearing rumors that Justin Gaethje might be getting the next title shot. I don't know how true that is, but we'll see how it goes." His statement instantly caught attention, especially since nothing official has been announced by the UFC. When asked who he'd personally like to see get the opportunity, Dariush made it clear he believes Arman deserves the next title shot more than anyone else. He said, "Between Justin and Paddy, I'd say Justin. But honestly, I think Arman is the most deserving. That's the fight I'd like to see." Dariush was then asked if he saw Paddy as a real threat to Ilia's championship reign, and he didn't hold back. He said he doesn't believe Paddy poses much danger to the reigning champ. "No, not particularly," Dariush replied. "I honestly can't see where he'd be a threat. In the striking, he'd be in a lot of danger. If it goes to the ground and he somehow gets a takedown, he's a very good grappler, but I don't think he can get Ilia down. From what I've seen and heard, Ilia's wrestling and takedown defense are world class." His comments echoed what many analysts have been saying, that Ilia's all-around game has evolved into something truly elite. With Beneil's insider remarks now circulating, the speculation continues to grow. Is the UFC really lining up Gaethje for a title shot, or will Arman's momentum earn him the opportunity instead? One thing is clear, the lightweight division is on fire, the rumors are non-stop, and everyone's waiting to see who El Matador will defend his belt against next. Moving on to another news, Charles Oliveira has responded to Max Holloway after the former featherweight champion said he doesn't want to wait until next year to fight him at the White House card. During a recent live stream, Max shared his thoughts on the potential matchup and admitted that while the idea of fighting Charles is exciting, the timing just doesn't feel right for him. He explained that the rumored White House card is still too far away, saying it would mean almost almost a full year of inactivity, and that's something he isn't interested in. Max said, "If we take that fight, it's going to be almost a year before I get back in competition. That's too long, boys. A whole year away from the cage. I don't know if I want to wait that long, but never say never. We'll see what happens." When Charles Oliveira was asked about Max's comments, he didn't hesitate to respond. Speaking through his team, Charles made it clear that he's more than willing to make the fight happen, but on a sooner timeline. He said he'd love to face Max in March, which he believes would be the perfect time for both fighters to prepare and deliver an incredible show for the fans. Charles added that he respects Max and understands his hesitation about waiting so long, but the fight can easily happen earlier in the year. Oliveira also addressed Max's comments about not wanting to fight in Brazil. Max had mentioned that he wouldn't take the fight there, saying he'd prefer it to happen elsewhere, ideally under his own terms. According to Max, those terms align with what the UFC would want anyway, meaning the fight could take place anywhere in the world, just not in Brazil. He even pointed out that he doesn't believe the UFC will ever hold an event in Hawaii, which further limits the options. Charles, however, remained respectful and positive, saying it doesn't matter where the fight happens. Whether it's in Max's home turf in Las Vegas or anywhere else in the world, he's ready to go. The Brazilian said he admires Max's skills and would love the challenge, adding that fighting him in March would be ideal. "It'll be awesome to see Hawaii," Charles said with a smile, hinting that he'd gladly travel for the opportunity. Both men seem interested, and while nothing is official yet, fans are already buzzing at the thought of these two elite strikers finally meeting inside the octagon. Moving on to another news. Dana White just made a huge announcement that has the entire MMA world buzzing. Earlier today, the UFC teased fans on social media by posting, "Dana White will be live on Instagram later today to make an announcement." The post immediately caught fire online, and fans began speculating what it could be about. A massive fight, a new venue, or maybe even a major comeback. Later that evening, Dana White went live on Instagram and dropped the big news. He officially confirmed that UFC 323 will take place at the T-Mobile Arena on December 6th, and the card is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. The main event will feature the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Merab, who makes a shocking quick turnaround to face the number 2 ranked fighter, Petr Yan, just a week after successfully defending his title at UFC 320. Merab reportedly came into the UFC offices and told everyone how much it meant to him to break the record for the most title defenses in a single year. Currently, Merab is riding an incredible 14-fight win streak and is looking to make an unprecedented 4th title defense in under 12 months. That's a record-setting pace that no other fighter in UFC history has achieved before. He already holds multiple UFC records, including the most takedowns ever, the most bantamweight wins, and the most bantamweight title wins. A victory at UFC 323 would also move him into 2nd place for the longest win streak in the promotion's history. Dana praised Merab's drive and determination, calling him one of the most relentless competitors in the sport, saying he loves seeing fighters with that kind of hunger to make history. But standing across from him will be none other than Petr Yan, a former champion and one of the most dangerous strikers in the division. Dana emphasized how exciting this matchup is, calling it a very fun fight and adding that you have to respect Merab for wanting to take on such a tough challenge so quickly after his last defense. In the co-main event, Alexandre Pantoja will defend his flyweight belt against the number 1 contender, Josh Van. Pantoja is currently on an impressive 8-fight win streak and holds the records for the most finishes and most wins in UFC flyweight history. On the other side, Josh Van has been nothing short of explosive since joining the promotion. He's coming off a Fight of the Year contender against Brandon Royval and has quickly become one of the most exciting prospects in the sport. Josh is looking to capture his 5th win in under a year, and he already holds records for the most strikes landed per minute and the highest striking differential in flyweight history. Dana described him as all action all the time, promising fans that this matchup will be fireworks from start to finish. Also on that card, former light heavyweight champion Jan Blachowicz will take on rising contender Bogdan Guzov in a high-stakes matchup, while former 2-division champion Henry Cejudo is set to face off against fast-rising bantamweight prospect Peyton Talbot in what's being described as a true passing of the torch moment. Dana wrapped up the announcement by saying this card perfectly represents what fans love about the UFC: champions chasing greatness, hungry contenders looking to make history, and stacked fights from top to bottom. Moving on to another news. Tom Aspinall has recently made headlines after revealing that he might be willing to vacate his UFC heavyweight belt for a close friend. Many believe Aspinall will reign as champion for a long time, given his devastating power, elite-level speed for a heavyweight, and slick submission game. At just 32 years old, it's easy to see why he's favored to beat almost anyone on the planet. However, the reigning heavyweight champ surprised fans when he admitted there's a real possibility he could give up his belt in the near future. During a recent appearance on a podcast, Aspinall was asked if he'd be willing to fight a close friend or training partner for the title. He explained that he might soon face that exact situation, as his longtime friend and teammate Ante Delia recently joined the UFC and made a strong impression in his debut by defeating Marcin Tybura. Aspinall said, "My friend and training partner just got to the UFC. He just got his first win, and now he's in the top 10. He beat a guy ranked there, so he's maybe 2 or 3 fights away from a title shot. Tom continued, if I had never won the title before, that would be different. I'd fight anyone because that's my dream. But now that I've done it, I'd vacate and let him have his moment. I wouldn't fight him. No chance. He emphasized that while he has plenty of training partners, some people are more than that to him. They're genuine friends. Aspinall said, he's one of my closest friends ever. Some things in life are more important than money and titles. I've won gold, I've lived that moment, and I've got a few more fights before he'll even reach that level anyway. Of course, for a matchup between Aspinall and Dariush to even be considered, several things would need to happen. Both fighters must continue winning at the highest level. Dariush is currently ranked number 9 and still has to get through several dangerous contenders before a title shot becomes realistic. But hearing Tom talk about vacating the belt for a friend shows just how grounded he is despite holding one of the most prestigious titles in the sport. Interestingly, during that same conversation, Aspinall admitted something that caught fans' attention. He doesn't believe he could have beaten a prime Daniel Cormier. The British powerhouse explained, DC at his peak has the worst style for me ever. I told him this to his face. He's short, keeps moving forward, changes levels between striking and wrestling, can knock you out or take you down, and has cardio for days. For my style, he's a nightmare. Tom even praised Cormier's career, calling him a beast and saying that peak DC was unreal. Meanwhile, Aspinall continues to prepare for his first official fight as the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion, as he's set to defend his belt against Cyril Gane at UFC 321 on October 25th. Recently, footage from his training camp showed the British star looking sharper than ever, battering the heavy bag with precision, power, and focus. Fans are eager to see if Aspinall can maintain his momentum and solidify his legacy as one of the most complete heavyweights in UFC history, even as he remains humble and loyal to the people who helped him reach the top. That's it from MMA Pulse News. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.